Senior Airman Sterling Crutcher's morning routine is pretty normal. But this morning's not normal. It's the last day, at least for a while, that Sterling's going to feel totally secure in his job as a munitions technician on the Barksdale Air Force Base. That's because the next time Sterling heads to the base, the transgender military ban that President Trump announced on Twitter in 2017 will be in effect. Do you remember where you were when you saw the tweets?
I didn't actually know about the tweets until after work. And my wife looked really sad, like she had been crying, and I was like, what's going on? And she's like, I am so sorry. And I was like, what? That's when I read the tweets, and my immediate reaction was I was devastated. It broke me. It was like, I'm about to get kicked out of the military.
When you went to work the next day, were you like, what does this mean?
It's not like it was an official order sent down through the DOD or anything. They didn't have any memos on it. My supervisor checked in on me, to make sure, hey, are you okay? Like, we don't know what's gonna happen, but we're here for you, we support you. My commander did the same thing.
The new policy disqualifies anyone with gender dysphoria from enlisting in the military. Gender dysphoria is a diagnosable difference between one's expressed gender and biological sex. Anyone who's had hormone therapy or sex reassignment surgery is banned too. People who identify as transgender can still enlist, but they would have to do it as the sex they were assigned at birth. There are about 14,700 active duty and reservist transgender troops, according to an analysis of DoD data. That's only 0.7% of the military, but the president's 3 tweets put people like Sterling on display. His situation? He has a diagnosis of gender dysphoria, he's undergone some transition surgery, and he will keep his job because he's grandfathered in under the Obama-era policy that allowed transgender troops to openly serve. So, how do you believe it affects you?
It could potentially kill my career in the sense that, the policy could turn on me and I may not be grandfathered in anymore. Things change so quickly, especially when politics move around so much. You can never be sure of the orders that are going to come down. There are possibilities that I could go officer and I could pursue the career that I really want to do, or they could deny me and say no because it would require a waiver. So there's a lot of ifs.
In February, the military sent officials to Capitol Hill to defend the policy and explain why it wasn't discriminatory. The overall explanation didn't really clear that up.
By virtue of having this policy, you're questioning the ability of transgender persons to serve.
Ma'am, this policy is not about transgender individuals. This is about a diagnosis. This is about gender dysphoria.
There was an attempt to clarify what Sterling was tortured about, whether he would be allowed to even try to become an officer.
Everyone that is currently has a diagnosis of gender dysphoria will be brought in and they will be grandfathered.
Navy Lieutenant Commander Blake Dreeman also testified at that hearing. He's the head of Sparta, a nonprofit that supports and advocates for service members who are transgender.
The reason that my transition made me a better leader, a better officer, is that I was no longer compartmentalizing parts of my life.
Do you wish the military had done a better job of alleviating the confusion?
I'm not sure that that's possible. It's a big organization, right? It's a big organization that requires a lot of the paperwork to get to very down deep inside the military. And sometimes it gets there and sometimes it doesn't.
Which means a lot of how someone like Sterling is treated will be at the discretion of people they work directly with. And while transgender troops will continue to be a political football for the president, the reality is military officials have tried to craft a policy that protects Sterling, and the people around him are supportive. Will you feel safe?
I feel safe in the sense that, I know I have support, and I know if anything does go the wrong direction, I know I'll be held up. I know there are going to be people there to catch me, to help me. Am I prepared for that? I would hope to say yes. Will it be a hard time? Absolutely. Will I be devastated? Probably. But I'm very cautiously optimistic.
Hi, baby.
Are you gonna open your eyes for me?
Is that your dad?
Ria.
His wife, Amy, also feels uncertainty about the future, but not about how her husband is actually treated at work.
I like to think that we'll be okay
Why do you think you would be okay specifically?
because we have support from everyone around us. Because everybody at this base loves us and loves my husband and respects my husband. And so I know that they'll go to bat for us. And the administration isn't forever. So we've sucked it up, and he's been serving for this administration and this government. So I say, ride it out, continue to make some change, and we'll see what 2020 brings us. But that's my opinion.
Your life in the military can be dictated by politicians. Who knows who the next president is or what happens? So how does that make you feel?
Politics is such a whirlwind. Everyone's got their agenda. Everyone's got their opinions that they put into their agenda. With so much overturn, and you just never know what's going to happen, it makes you want to move to a small island and just kind of be your own little government, to be honest with you.
Sterling has to be careful with his words. As an active duty member of the military, he can't make political statements. But in today's political world, it's still hard for civilians to understand why he would stay in the military.
Oh, bless you. Oh, bless you.
Why do you want to be part of an organization that if you joined on Saturday or tried to join on Saturday would not let you in?
Nothing gets changed from the outside. Yes, voices are heard, advocates are heard, but a lot of change within any organization happens from the inside. If I leave now, and this is something I'm actually actively struggling with, is if I leave now, if I really leave, I almost feel like for myself, I'm gonna be giving up on me, and I'm gonna be giving up on those around me. And I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna set that example. If my daughter grows up and has to stand up for something, I don't want her to look at it and go, well, I'll just move on. If it's that important to you, stick it out, push. Yeah, exactly. See, you know what I'm talking about.